Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I am blessed to be here with Carl Franklin, spiritual metaphysicist with over 50 years experience. Hello, Carl, and welcome.
Hello, Willow, and thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk to you and share all of your wisdom and speak with you today about death, dying, beyond, and what happens. Um, let's start with the first question that I'm really excited to start with, which what exactly is it to be a human? What does that mean? What are the bodies that we exist in?
Well, we're aware of the physical body, and the physical body is the only part of us that's temporary, that has an expert, it expires, all right, an expiration date. So the other bodies are not physical, but they need a physical body in which to experience and express in the physical earth environment. Okay? And one of the bodies is a mental body, and that encompasses our mind primarily, and it works primarily with thought. Have you ever seen a thought?
No, I have not.
Has anybody? No. Uh, Thoughts are energy, conscious energy, and the energy is not the same energy as our physical body. Physical bodies are made out of electromagnetic energy, as is everything on the earth. And everything that we can see in space with our five senses is made out of electromagnetic energy. But what we can see in space, according to the astrophysicists, is only 3% of the universe. 90% is made out of higher frequency energies. So we have a mental body with our thoughts, and third, we have an emotional body with our emotions. Have you ever seen an emotion? No, it's beyond, that's not physical. Therefore, our five senses can only perceive that's made out of electromagnetic energy, which is the physical realm. Okay? So those are three of the bodies. The fourth body, according to basically all of the major religions in the world and throughout much of history, we all have a soul. Now, it's interesting. I was a Lutheran minister for 12 years and a graduate of Lutheran seminary, etc. My brother was a graduate of another Lutheran seminary. My sister's a graduate of a Unity seminary. And none of the seminaries ever told us what a soul was. They told us you have a soul, but never defined it. And the only reason for them to do that is they didn't know. All right. Now, I've been told, and this came through the channelings that I've received, our soul is the consciousness of the creator of the universe. Our soul is the consciousness of the creator. All right. And that is our fourth body. And it's, uh, well, anyway, if you combine the soul with our mind and our emotions, we have what's called an astral body. And when we die, and you're going to go into that next, I guess. Why don't you ask that question and we'll go into that?
What happens when we die?
What happened? Good question. I like that. Based on, I don't know how many years, probably 15, 12, 15 years now of research on death and dying, there's some pretty clear answers have come forth. And when a person dies, what they experience, and this is the way they describe it, almost completely the same in each person. I rose out of my body. I went up into the air and I hovered there near the ceiling and I could see and I could hear everything being said and done. I could see my body, physical body, laying there, and I did not want to go into it. And then they said, I immediately started moving very, very rapidly. They think they were moving through space. They describe it, it was dark all around except for the one light we were headed towards very rapidly. Well, it wasn't space. In space, there's stars. No stars here. They were going through the astral plane. Now, I want to sidetrack a little bit here. In the center, we have the Earth. Surrounding the Earth, we have the astral plane. And surrounding the astral plane, we have the heavenly plane. All right? So you go through the astral plane to get to the heavenly plane. Well, fine, they went through the astral plane, they get to the entrance to heaven, and for most that were not raised with a traditional religion where they talk about the gates to heaven, all right, what they see is a tunnel of light. And they just know with absolute certainty, if I go into that tunnel, this lifetime is over. And so they go through an evaluation process. Am I ready to leave my family? Is my family ready to leave me, for me to leave? And am I ready to not do and experience all of the things I had planned to do or wanted to do? And if they decide no, and it's not their final exit point, they're back in their body. And the doctors, if they're in the hospital, thought, hey, we shocked them and everything. We gave them oxygen. We brought them back. No, they came back because they chose to come back. All right. So that's what happens when we die. Now, if they choose to go in, or if it's their final exit point, and most of us, when we planned our life out, we put in 5 different points where we could leave our life if it got so bad that we didn't want to stay there. All right. So if you're at an exit point, fine, or your final exit point, you're going to either go into the tunnel or you're not. Now, this is my guesstimate. I've been doing this work for 35 years of working with people on the astral plane. And I think about 20% of people choose not to go into heaven. And they're afraid. They're afraid of the unknown. They're afraid they're not good enough. They're afraid they're going to be judged, punished, maybe go to hell. And there is no such thing, all right? It's a man-made concept. So anyway, they chose not to, and if they choose not to, the entrance to heaven is gone. And they're on that astral plane, and it may be days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries before they reach the point of saying, I made a mistake, I should have gone in. But everyone will at some point realize that that's where they belong. And when they come back to go in, where's the entrance? And my job is I can help call in the help that they need to find the entrance to heaven. All right. And again, I've been doing that for over 35 years, and I have to do it every day because psychics have said, Carl, you've got a flashing red neon sign, and it says, come to me, I can help. All right. And I don't want to do it at the house. So I've got my sign out over the south part of Lake Michigan, where there aren't any people who will be affected by what we're doing.
Thank you.
And, yeah. And anyway, it started off a dozen or so people a day, and now it's a dozen thousand, 12,000, 15. It's increased 1,000-fold at least. Okay.
So let me clarify what you just said. At 5 different times in life, we have an option, or we set up an out plan where we could choose to go home, so to speak, yes, and leave our body. And sometimes we leave and come back to our body, and sometimes we leave our body and no longer have our body and are stuck in the astral plane, if I understand you correctly. Yes, so it's a space where someone, a soul might get trapped without a body. Is what you're saying, correct?
Yes. Sure
that everyone understands that, and I understand that correctly.
Yeah. Okay, and they're in what we call the astral body, which is their mind, their emotions, and their soul. That is the astral body. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, thanks for clarifying that. Okay.
Yeah. And so if someone were to commit suicide, is this is that a lot of the souls that you're helping with, or is that kind of where they're trapped because now they don't have their body but they still have a mission and a purpose and they're trapped kind of somewhere in between? Have you experienced that at all or worked with those souls?
Well, if a person committed suicide, it will very often create guilt. All right. And guilt is one reason for not to go into heaven because you're going to be punished if you feel guilty. All right. And so
Allegedly, not for real. That's the thought process, correct?
that's the thought
All
process that
right, just
you're
want to
not,
clarify
they,
that we're not actually going to get punished, that that's
well,
where the mind is trapped.
there are three things that do not exist in heaven: fear, judgment, and hell. There is no judgment there. All right. So any fear that you have is false. It's in you. It's not a reality outside of yourself. All right. So please, and I can't stress this point heavy enough. Our body at some point is going to die for all of us. It's definitely temporary. And when you get to the tunnel of light, or however you perceive it, please go in. All right. Now let me tell you what happens as you go into. All right. You go into this tunnel of light, and a miracle happens. You are reconnected with your soul's memory. How old is your soul? 100,000, 200,000, a million years old? It's got a fantastic amount of wisdom and knowledge coming from many different dimensions. And when you left the birth canal, how much of it did you bring with you?
None.
None, or very little at best. All right. Well, now you are really yourself. You are the person that you were when you died, plus everything that you've experienced here has now become a part of the soul's memory. But you have all of that other information, and this is truly the person that you are. So we can only experience a very little bit of who we are here because we don't have our soul memory. All right.
So if I understand you correctly, we have the soul memory and we have all of that information that we have through that we reconnect to when we cross in the tunnel of light, and we have that until we exit the birth canal of our mother. So there's two tunnels essentially: the one of light and then the one of the birth of the body.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, go into the heavenly realm, and what happens when you exit the tunnel?
Yes, what does
Everyone that you've ever been close to, family, friends, and so on, uh, they're there to welcome you. I shouldn't say everyone, almost everyone, all right? And those that are there to welcome you can go back up to 7 generations. Now, because you have your soul memory, you recognize and you know these people on a deep level. Had you not had your soul memory, people that were generations, 3, 4, 5 years, who are you? You know? But
so if I'm understanding you correctly, um we recognize the people that are there even if we did not have an interaction with them and did not live in our physical body in the same uh lifetime or decade or century as
yes,
them. So we may
yes,
have never experienced them in this
that's
physical
correct.
reality. However, they are our soul family and our team that is up there, kind of like our guides
Yes,
and part of our family. And okay.
yes, yes. Okay. So anyway, just an absolutely wonderful family reunion. And it goes on for Lord only knows how long. And when it finally does end, there will be a couple that kind of hold back, and they'll be the last two that are there usually, and they'll say, "Well, come on with us, and we'll show you where you're going to be living." And they hold back because they are closest to you in level of consciousness. So you're going to be moving into their neighborhood. and know that everyone in heaven goes to the level that they're going to be most comfortable at, and that is the level of their consciousness. So it behooves us while we're here to raise our consciousness to the highest level that we can. And the higher the level, the more it's composed of things like love, peace, joy, at one-ment. Okay? So that is one thing that we're all here to learn. Okay.
And so when we set up our 5 exit options, those are almost giving ourselves another chance to come back and keep trying. So we're giving ourselves opportunities to make mistakes, to fail, for a better lack of better words, and giving ourselves opportunities to realize that we're here, that we actually chose this embodied experience. We're here for a reason. We're here for a purpose, and to come back and to actually live our purpose.
I want just one thing that you said there that I want to comment on. There's no way you can fail. There's no such thing as a mistake, because always you're going to learn from it. And without having gone through that experience, you would not have that learning. So how could it have been a mistake or wrong?
Yeah, thank you.
And we're all here to fully, as fully as possible, understand our potential and develop that potential. And I expect that many of us learn as much from our failures as we do from our successes. So there is no such thing as failure, really. It's all about learning, growing, becoming, and the direction we choose to develop ourselves in is what our life script is about.
Let's talk about that. Tell me about the life script, and yeah, what is the life script?
We all spend a great amount of time working on what it is we're going to do in our next incarnation. And now let me say that on average, we'll spend about twice as much time in heaven as we do in the physical plane. And when we return to heaven, the greeting is welcome home. That the people there view it as their home. And when you leave there to come here onto the earth, they will say, enjoy school. This is a classroom in which we come to learn. And we're coming to learn lower dimensional things because we're functioning in lower dimensional bodies on a lower dimensional planet. All right? And as the planet and humanity ascends into higher dimensions, the level of heaven is ascending too. So heaven will always be more evolved than it is here on the earth spiritually. Okay?
Beautiful. So our purpose here and our time here in school is basically just to learn and raise our consciousness and enjoy experiences that we can only have when we're embodied, to enjoy the 5 senses.
Well, yeah, can I elaborate on that a little?
Please. Yes.
There are some people that come here with the sole purpose of experiencing the lower level dimensions. Our soul, one of its enduring, most predominant characteristics is it is curious. It wants to experience it wants to know everything. All right, and some things you really have to get down into get dirt and anyway, get into the really low aspects of human life to experience. And from that, they'll gain an understanding of that. And then when they get into heaven or in a next lifetime, they'll know how to work more effectively with those people to help them.
Oh my gosh, that's magical what you just said. So we actually incarnate in what may not feel like a really pleasant experience in this body to learn those lessons so that we can then come back in the next lifetime and assist and serve uh, those souls that we just were.
Exactly, exactly.
That makes so much sense.
So we've got different kinds of people here, and we are not in a position to ever judge them or what they're doing. It's there for their learning. And our hope and our prayer for them is, please learn the lesson you're meant to learn from this experience. If you don't learn it, you're going to repeat it, and usually in a more intense way. But if you have
Right.
learned it, you've risen above it.
Well, and by learning it, in order to truly appreciate and enjoy the bliss or the beauty, one needs the full spectrum of experiences to uh, understand the contrast. And the more that we're willing to explore the uncomfortable, the more we appreciate and can maximize the bliss. Would that be a good way to say it?
Yes, yes, you're right on. Yes, yes. So in a life script, we're going to identify what it is you have decided. And incidentally, you had a lot of help in doing your life script. You drew on people on the heavenly realm that you respected and admired, and you listened to what you asked them questions. And anyway, what you come up with is what you're here to learn, what the growth you're here to attain. All right. And then the other part, you're here to offer services that will be helpful to the planet, to life forms on the planet, to the humans, etc. So those things, learning and growth and service, are the two things that our life script boils down to. And to determine what's on your life script, we will go into a temple that contains the Akashic record. The Akashic, everything that happens, even our thoughts and feelings, it's all recorded in the Akashic record. And our life script is kept in a temple that just keeps life scripts. And we will look at the life script that you prepared for this lifetime, and that will give you an opportunity to realize how much growth you have attained thus far and how much you have yet to do. All right. And particularly in the area of service, you can see how much of the service you have given that you weren't even aware that you were here to give. And it's going to make you feel good about yourself. All right.
That's beautiful. For anyone who is not familiar with the Akashic records, the way they were introduced to me and I understand them, it's like the library in the sky of all of the lifetimes. And so if I'm understanding you correctly, if the Akashic records is like a giant universal library, then the life script is our own personal book that's just for us. And you go
Yes.
into, you find our personal book and our
Yes.
personal records, and you go into that and help us discover where along our
Yes.
life path that we are.
And I don't tell you what's written there to the extent that I can. I want you to find it for yourself. You read it yourself, it's more meaningful for you than my telling you that. But what you don't get, I will get. All right, and share with you. All right.
That I get because I have done one of these readings with you, and um, you had taken it beyond my understanding of where I came from and where I was. Like I had experiences before. However, you expanded on that in ways that I did not even comprehend prior to sitting down with you.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad it was helpful.
Yeah. Well, and it talks about and you share with us the different places that we could possibly come from in the different realms. A lot of that. Would you want to talk about some of the different realms?
Yeah, yeah. Some of the fun stuff that we had before we do that. What were you before you took on human form? Do you know of anybody that's ever asked themselves that question? You know? Well,
Not before you.
okay. So it's interesting where human beings have come from. and different realms, different dimensions, etc. So, and I think you'll find it insightful because you carry some of that same energy with you, all right, and you have through all of your lifetimes. So we ask that question, and we ask, how much of your conscious time are you spending in the third, fourth, and fifth dimensional levels of consciousness? The third dimension is based on fear, limitation, separation. They're all limited and negative. The dimensions in the fifth dimension are love, peace, joy, oneness, etc. Okay, and so it's kind of a report card. And the fourth dimension is a dimension of transition. It's also known as a dimension of chaos, very rapid change that most of us are in the process of going through, especially the light workers who have come from higher dimensions. Okay, so, and then we've got a couple other things we'll look at. We're transforming from a carbon base to a crystalline base. And where are you in that process? How much of you is now crystalline? How much is still a carbon? All right. And that's another report card of where you are in this ascension process, moving from the third through the fourth into the fifth dimension.
So it really helps people understand where they are in the ascension process, where
Yes,
they are on their life path, and have
yes,
a better understanding of what their life path is. I know it really helped me understand. It actually helped me put some puzzle pieces together, is the best way to say it. So it helps people kind of make sense of the chaos, so to speak, that we're in as we transform from carbon to crystal and really work together on this ascension path.
and why we're going through it. When we have that, then as you say, pieces of the puzzle fall into place.
Yes. Um, and you talked about the report cards that we get. I want to make it clear to everyone that these are exactly what he said, a report,
Yes,
not
yes,
a judgment. Like, don't associate it with school like you're being graded. This is just feedback so that when we know where we are, it makes it a lot easier to proceed.
well, it indicates where you are in this process. That's what it is. And the report does a couple of things. It tells you shows you how far you have grown. And secondly, it shows you how much, how much further you have to go. And it'll give you some indication is how to get there. There's no judgment involved in it at all.
Correct. The how to get to the next step is perfect. It's
Yes.
beautiful to the awareness and the knowledge is power that unlocks things that well, I would encourage you to have your own experience and see what it unlocks for you, because everyone that is watching this and everyone that you work with, I'm assuming, has very different experiences. No two are ever the same, and so it's a very personal experience. It's custom, it's personal, it's unique, and it's beautiful. And you offer these both in person and online, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We can do it in person if you're in the Grand Rapids area or Southwest Michigan area, or it can be done via telephone. We can do it by Zoom, but I'm not a technical person at all, and so that depends on the availability of my wife to set it up. But
Which we
also,
are blessing that goddess right now for setting this up for us.
yes, 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 yes. Now, I've had a number of people that I've done readings for in the last couple of months say to me, "You're not charging enough for this." And I haven't raised my price in probably 12 years. And so we're going to, 1st of July, we're going to raise the price from 125 to $197. All right. So if you get it before July, in April, or sorry, May or June, you're it's the time to do it. It's going to be cheaper.
Wow, so that's beautiful. So we're in 2025 currently, just in
Yes.
whenever we're watching this video for that. So for the and it's May, the end of May. So for June and for 2 more months, you are offering it at 125, and then the rates will increase from there. So
Yes.
that's a really generous of you to do that special offer and to keep that here for all of our guests. So if you're watching this, I would encourage you to take advantage of that special, because the life reading really is, it's something I have not experienced before. And it, like I said, unlocked a lot and put a lot of puzzle pieces together. It's a really beautiful experience. Then you encourage people to record them as well, too, so that we can reflect back on them. It's something you do want to record, because you'll listen to it a couple times. And I'm excited to listen to mine a year from now and see what's shifted.
Yes. Yes, please. To record it is basically a requirement to get it. All right, because people that have not recorded it, they call me and ask me questions, and I do not remember them after I do them. All right, so and for one of the frequent comments is it was life changing for me. All right, so it's that important, and there's so much information given in such a short period of time. No way can your mind absorb it all. So you'll have just a
Correct.
lot of questions that you'll have to listen to the recording to get.
So again, for clarity, there's no judgment, there's no shame, and Carl is a conduit. He is not absorbing, he is not judging, he is not creating the information. He is the conduit, and the information is coming through him for your benefit.
I've been channeling now for 50 years, literally. As a Lutheran minister, I would channel my sermons. I've given hundreds or thousands, a lot of talks, all right, and I haven't written one in 50 years because they're always there.
How did you discover that this was your gift?
I was getting a master's in psychology, and the professor just had part of one session on the subconscious, and he said the subconscious is 85 to 88% of our mind. And it blew me away. I cannot conceive God giving us that huge portion of our mind without expecting us to learn to use it. And I made a commitment. I'm going to do everything in my power to learn to work out of up to 100% of my mind. And it wasn't 6 months later, a mentor came into my life who was a master at teaching meditation. And his background is he had been a Jesuit monk for centuries, not centuries, decades, all right? And he literally came and lived with us for several, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks and put on seminars. And I want to think I was probably one of his best students. So that's how it all started.
Wow, that's definitely a shift in going from psychology to spirituality.
And from religion.
Yeah.
Our religions are all third dimensional. And to move into the fifth dimension, there's going to be a major transition. I'm most familiar with Christianity, but I believe the transition is going to go through all of the religions if they are going to survive. Okay.
Would you speak more into what you mean by the third dimension, that religions are third dimension, and kind of for anyone who might not understand what that means?
Well, one of the cornerstones of Christianity is sin. All right. If the sin weren't a part of it, why would we need someone to come and die so that we could be forgiven? Well, Jesus said, there's nothing you can ever do that will separate you from the love of God. All right. And Jesus said, he referred to us, he said, do you not know that you are God? And when we reach the point where using our subconscious mind, we're dialoguing with our soul, and we're able to do then, as Jesus said, everything that I can do, you can do, and even greater. And there are more and more I'm going to call them light workers who are on the spiritual path, who are reaching the point where they are soon going to be able to do that. All right. And I include myself in that group. All right. And that's including working with the weather, working with healing, uh, working with multiplying the food. I don't know of anyone that's close to raising the dead, but anyway, up to that point, being able to transport your body from one place to another, as he did on Easter morning from Emmaus to Jerusalem.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, that it's really what you're saying too is that we all have superpowers. We all have the ability to connect to source energy. We all embody the magic, the gift, we're all gods and goddesses. The awareness is what some of us don't have, that
Exactly.
we embody it, and then we have to actually explore and cultivate our gifts. We have to own them. We have to look for that. We have to acknowledge them, and then we have to practice them. Since nothing just comes. We have to actually practice.
I think we first have to change our beliefs.
Okay.
Okay, and begin to realize the potential that we have as human beings created in the image and likeness of God. All right, and the fact that we have the divine consciousness within ourselves, when we connect with it and allow it to express itself through us, that's how miracles occur. Jesus said, I'm not the one performing the miracles, it's the Father in me. It's the soul within me. All right. And he said, my Father and I are one. And I think the church leaders were thinking of God in heaven, and they made Jesus the only Son of God. But Jesus was referring to the God within himself. My Father and I are one, and he is expressing these miracles through this physical human body.
So he was acknowledging that he also was a conduit, and that we are all
Yes,
conduits that have a
yes,
choice of
yes.
whether we're willing to open ourselves up and receive, and then how we are going to express the message.
And that's why he came. Not he didn't come to die for our sins. He came to show us and teach us who we are and what our potential is.
So different than what we were
It,
told.
yes, absolutely.
And
Yes,
show us that we all have the power. We don't need to give it away. We don't need to ask someone permission, and it does not need to be gifted to us from some person. It is ours to own, claim, embody, and embrace.
exactly. Right on.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Um, is there anything else that you would like to add to this beautiful conversation about after death, spirits, the life script, or anything?
The other services that I offer, um, spiritual counseling, and where we would get into more into greater depth the beliefs of what I'm going to refer to as fifth dimensional Christianity, and just answering questions that people have. All right, and I do a little bit of healing work. My wife does even more than I do, and she's better at it than I am.
I'm excited and you will all get to meet her soon. We will be interviewing her next, so you will get to meet his wife as well, who is also, yes, quite a magical goddess and being.
Well, but if you feel that I can be helpful to you, please feel free to contact me, and I assume that you're going to give them how to do that.
Yes, all your information will be underneath the video.
Okay, okay, great. And it will be my privilege to work with you. That's why I'm here. That's what I'm here to do. So,
And if you're watching this, please understand Carl is 89 years old. He will be 90 soon, and he has lifetimes of wisdom to offer. And his time is now.
my time is limited, yes.
So yes, if you're watching this, please take advantage of Carl while you still can.
Right,
take advantage of
exactly.
the life reading in the next 2 months before he ups it, and share it with your friends and family, because it's really exciting times. Like
Oh,
there's a lot more that I know, that I'm not sure if I want to open those cans right now.
well, this is the most exciting time to be on the earth that there is. There are more highly evolved people coming into the earth every day, and it's the rate of change is unprecedented in human history. And it's just wow, the potential here you can achieve in one lifetime now more than you can achieve in a dozen lifetimes in the past. So we're privileged to be here, but with that privilege is a real responsibility to maximize what it is we can become and do.
Agreed. Thank you so much, Carl, for your time, your expertise, your energy. This has been such a gift. And I hope that everyone watching this has really enjoyed learning today and gotten something really great out of this.
Well, I hope so too. And thank you for doing this for us, Willow.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
All of his information will be in the comment below this video. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you and God bless.